What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and there are a lot of creations out there on UEFN, right? There's a lot of crazy things you can do, but sometimes when you're recording a YouTube video and you go by the name FireMonkey, and you find a map that is related to speed and just having bananas, that's what you decide to do. So, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing wonderful. In today's YouTube video, we will be doing a little bit of just like a mini ramble about stuff going on, but I wanted to play on this map in particular just because I thought it was kind of funny, right? You know, you don't really go around that often and find a map in Fortnite, well, I guess recently, you know, with UEFN and everything, it's like you've been finding tons of crazy maps or whatever, but you don't typically go around and find a map like this where it's just bananas. Like, literally, everywhere you look, to the left banana, to the right banana, if we shoot our gun, it could shoot bananas one day. I mean, right now, it's just a normal gun, but who knows, maybe in the future it becomes a banana gun. We don't know what Epic Games is capable of. But with that said, I wanted to ramble about FNCS in Legends Landing. As you guys know, recently when it comes to the Legends Landing drops, all of those are actually only obtainable now through Legends Landing itself, and you're not able to go to Twitch or YouTube and watch there in order to get the drops. And honestly, I have to make a plea with Epic Games here. Epic Games, please, can you either fix the system you have in Fortnite, or can you make it easier for us to figure out when we're going to get the rewards, or can you just bring back Twitch drops at this point? Because Legends Landing has been the first time in a while where I've actually had to contact support regarding an emoticon, right? Now, originally I wouldn't care about the emoticon, you know, contacting support or whatever, but when I have to sit on a map for around like 40 to 50 minutes just to be like, oh, okay, you know, I think I've qualified for the reward, watching, you know, whatever FNCS programs being played in that map, and then I have to wait a week to figure out if I even actually qualified for the reward or if my data didn't get properly saved or something like that, then there's a little bit of an issue. Because whenever we've had Twitch drops before, right, sure, there's been issues before where it's like you've claimed the drop and everything, but you never got it in game. But with that system, you at least knew you claimed the drop, right? You at least knew that you met the requirements, and you had visual evidence to use when you talk to support or whatever, being like, hey, look, I qualified for this, is there any way I could actually get it granted to my account and stuff like that? And sure, you know, support most of the time would either be like, oh, you know, maybe one day we'll give it to you, or, oh, you know, it's like we don't have enough proof and you have to go through like 50 support agents or something first. But it just felt like with time and, you know, with having that visual evidence, you were able to at least know that you weren't in the wrong and it was a technical error on someone else's side. However, with the Legends Landing system of you only getting the rewards by watching in a creative map and then waiting like a week to figure out if they got granted to your account or not, it's definitely a kind of more finicky thing that I'm not a big fan of, right? Because like, for example, website events, I'm not a fan of those either, right? But at least with the website events, you're able to have some visual data to track in order to figure out if you qualified for a reward or not. There's something you're able to actually see so that you know, it's like, hey, I should be able to get this in the near future or something. It should be granted my account eventually. However, with this creative map thing, not only is it being hardly advertised with us only finding out that it's, you know, a Legends Landing map only experience type of reward system through Twitter posts and through leakers themselves, but we also didn't really have it advertised that much, right? Because I only really found out that it was happening on the weekends, right? And that's when you're supposed to watch in Legends Landing for the rewards, because of the tweets over on Twitter being like, hey, right now for the next 2 days, you guys can get the reward, because it hasn't really been advertised that much in game or anything. And typically when it came to FNCS drops, they would always do like promotional images and stuff, right? They would always put a promotional like blog post out being like, hey, here's how you're going to be able to get these drops, here's what the drops are and everything like that. However, with the most recent system and, you know, with the Major 2 event or whatever, I feel these are going to be more of the rarer sided props, or I guess, you know, items and rewards and whatnot, just because of the fact that Epic Games basically didn't advertise them, right? Especially with the first emoticon, you know, the FNCS Neon emoticon, if I can find it here. The interesting thing about that emoticon in particular is just the fact that wherever it is, I guess, but it's just the fact that this emoticon wasn't really advertised at all, right? Because like we always thought it was going to be like Twitch drops or something, and then as the first day of FNCS Major 2 is going on, or I guess the first weekend, they just kind of come out of the blue and are like, hey, this reward is for watching Legends Landing. We're not going to tell you how long you have to watch, just go in Legends Landing and watch and you'll eventually get the reward. And it was one of those things where it caught people off guard because everyone was still just used to, you know, when they heard about FNCS drops, oh, those are going to be on Twitch one day or something, right? Whereas in this case, it was just kind of like, hey, you know, out of the blue, just we're changing everything up and we weren't going to give you a heads up or anything. So it just makes me feel super iffy about the rewards. And now it's like, did I really have to contact support being like, where's my OG emoticon? I need my emoticon I'll never use, please, Epic Games. No, I didn't have to contact Epic Games for it, right? That's not the issue here in my opinion though, right? Sure, I contacted Epic Games support and all that stuff, but I mainly did it as it was because it was one of those rewards that I fairly qualified for that I would like to have in my inventory, just, in case I ever want to show it off or something, use it for a combination as like a back bling on the hollow back, whatever is going on there or whatever. And it was like something that was like, I qualified for this. It was supposed to take me like 40-50 minutes of just watching to get it, but instead of getting the thing that I expected myself to obtain, I didn't get anything at all, right? And it was kind of just a very meh situation to me. So, of course, this isn't really trying to bring it all about me, right? Like, oh, poor Fire Monkey, poor content creator Fire Monkey, he didn't get his little emoticon into game. But it's more just kind of talking about how the system as a whole is, because I wish that we just had a better way of tracking this data, even if it was a website, right? Even if there's a website where you can click on it and be like, oh, this is how long you spent on the Legends landing map. So you would at least visually know, hey, I might not have the reward right now, but I at least qualified for it. It's just anything would help make this a lot easier for us to understand, and just anything would help give us more evidence to show support in case we did want one of those free rewards, right? In case we did qualify for something that we did want to keep in the game, such as, for example, in the past when we had a whole entire situation where, it's kind of like there was just previous website events or, previous events in game where it was like, play on this creative map, you'll eventually get a spray or whatever, and it was like, okay, I played on it, and then you have to wait like a year to figure out if you actually even qualified for it. And what I'm referring to here, if you guys are unaware, is one of the actual community cup sprays, which if I scroll here, we should be able to find it eventually. This one right here. It was one of those things where, well, of course we can't spray it because this map's entirely just bananas, but it's one of those things where you're kind of just sitting there, right, and you're like, okay, I qualified, I went to the creative map or whatever, and I played, picked a team or whatnot, and then you literally had to wait like 6 months to a year to figure out if this was something that you actually were able to obtain or not, because there was no actual way to track it, right? Once I got added to the game files, just one day Epic Games started granting it to people's accounts that qualified for it, and it was like, oh, how did I get this? What did I do to qualify for it? Because that's how long ago the actual like creative map and everything took place, where people are just like, huh? I don't understand why I got this, but I got it, I guess. So it's just a weird little situation here where I don't really like how they're doing some of these reward type granting things, because it's super unlikely that you'll even understand if you got a reward or if you didn't. And even if you did figure out if you were supposed to qualify for it, there's a chance that if you figured out you were supposed to, you're probably going to end up contacting support, because of course at that point other people got granted the reward and you never did. So I just wish that they would do something like, maybe more of those quest menu stuff, right? Going over here, looking at this season, all the little quest menu tabs, put it somewhere there where it's easier to obtain and where we already have a valid working system so we can obtain it. And they have done quests for Legends Landing before, so it's not like they can't do them again. Like, I could even think about it like this, right? You could have a challenge that unlocks each week, right? And then goes away after that week's done or whatnot. That is like, oh, spend 30 minutes watching Legends Landing, right? On this week or whatever. Sure, it wouldn't be able to track when the actual FNCS live stream was going on or whatnot, but at least you'd be able to set up like an accolade device on the island or something in order to make it count up every minute as a tracker and grant you that quest experience, right? There would be a lot more ways to actually make stuff work in order for us to get the rewards in a more understandable and fluid manner, instead of a situation like this where we have to kind of, guess and then either contact support if we want the emoticon, or just own up to the fact that we kind of wasted our time for a reward that we thought we were supposed to get, but Epic Games had some issues the night of where it was like, oh, you actually had to watch on the next day, not the first day that the program was going on, but the second day as well. And it's like, we still don't even know the actual timing for anything, right? We still don't even know like how the system was supposed to go or anything for, it's like, oh, you have to watch on this day for this time or anything like that. It was just kind of like a real just guessing game situation, whereas like we know we have to watch on the weekend, we know we have to watch for either 15 to 30 minutes, Twitch drops are always 30 minutes, Legend Landing was always 15 minutes, so let's just stay here for like 40 minutes just to be safe or whatever, right? And there were even people staying on the Legends Landing map for like an hour plus just to make sure they would qualify for the reward, and they still did not get the reward. So it's just the whole entire situation where, I hope Epic Games is able to find a better solution in the future. I hope they're able to find a way that works more fluently for everyone out there, because it would be just so much nicer in order to have a more like understandable and more user-friendly experience when trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to obtain these rewards. And sure, if you make it so it's a quest in game, there's going to be a situation where leakers can just be like, okay, here's a reward for week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But is that really a bad thing? I mean, leakers can already leak all these quests, right? This season bonus goals, trials, daily, milestones. We can leak the rewards for all those things even when they're not actually active yet. And, you know, sometimes those include free rewards, and it's not like this is a collaboration or anything. It's just like, here's a back bling, here's blah blah blah, and let's say for example that there's going to be an update that adds some of the rewards in a future update. Well, just don't include those quests in the actual files during the weeks that they're not even used, right? You can just add more quests over time and stuff like that, and it feels like it would just be a way easier method, and just, you know, it'd be a lot just, you know, as I'm saying, right, it would just be a lot better for us as a player to understand what's going on and to make sure that we're able to just fluently get all the rewards without having to stress out over, oh, I'm going to need to contact support because they messed up and didn't give me a reward I qualified for, yada yada yada, right? But of course, this is just kind of me being a grumpy old man talking about, I need my Twitch rewards back, and, you know, Twitch rewards at the end of the day aren't going to be that big of a deal, because no matter what, even if I don't get the emoticon, I'm still going to play the game, right? I'm not going to quit the game because I didn't get an emoticon that was exclusive to FNCS Major 2 or anything for a weekend. I'm just going to be like, well, that kind of sucks because I did qualify for it, but I never ended up getting it. So I would love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments down below. But with that said, I think I'm losing my mind playing a map that's made entirely out of bananas. And what is this? God mode plus fly? Oh, that is just an option on here. Okay, maybe I should just keep playing this after, you know, I turn the video off and everything. After I stop recording, I just keep playing so that I can just activate God mode, fly around, and all that type of stuff. Oh wait, ultra speed. Okay, I'm getting way off track. Anyways, you know, I said the main part of today's video, so I hope you champs and champettes enjoyed it, and you liked hearing me just ramble about something that I hope Epic Games improves on in the future. With that said, however, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another upload, so peace out.